Well, I am rare coin expert Walt Durham,
And industry veteran Ben Parker.
and we are the coin guys from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So on today's show, we're going to talk about what new collectors, I mean, you had a discussion about what new collectors, novice people into this market, what they should be looking for and what maybe some things they should not look for.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be super daunting. You know, you get into the market and you see there's a million different things that you can get. You know, what do you want? What do you want to look for? What do you want to avoid? And because there is so much out there, it always helps to have a helping hand in the very first couple steps that you take. And that's a question that I often get is, you know, what should I look for? You know, because people, part of the fun is they go to shows, like you go to shows, and they want to find something unique and they want to do it for themselves. That's part of the
right.
fun.
Well, at the end of the day, this is a hobby, right?
Yeah.
So and people they want to know what they should kind of focus on. I guess is how is kind of the best way to phrase the question, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like what I always tell people, and I've said this for years, is set series and date runs, right? We've always said that set series and date runs kind of flows out of your mouth. But what I mean by that is, take for instance, you know, we talk a lot about the Gold American Eagles in Proof 70. It's much better, like what I tell collectors, it's much better to have a complete 4-piece set from any year, whether it's 1988, 2014, 2021, whatever the year is, you want to have the complete 4-piece set.
Yeah, so break it down a set, especially for Gold Eagles, it's going to be the $5 piece,
Right.
the 10, the 25, and the 50.
Right.
All together from the same year and preferably the same grade. You want to get it all in Proof 70, all in Mid-State 70. That's a set.
Correct. And the reason I always suggest that is because the sets are what are in demand.
Yeah.
There are key coins in the set. Like we all know that, or we know that the $25 piece in every set is the hardest one. And it typically can keep people from putting together a set. But people, I think, make the mistake of they'll buy a $5 and $10 piece and kind of skip out.
Affordable.
They're affordable. And they'll skip out on the 25. And they'd rather have a $5 and $10 piece from 10 different years than. But I would say that you're much better off with one complete Proof 70 set.
Yeah.
Just because they're easier to sell. Like anytime I'm trying to sell, like let's say we're trying to sell something dealer to dealer, and I say, hey, I've got a 2016 $25 gold piece in Proof 70. Do you need it? You interested? If you had a set,
Yeah.
That's kind of what I hear, from the wholesale side of things.
Yeah, so you're always going to do better having a complete set. It's probably, for dealers, it's easier to move. So because of that, the individual that has a complete set, they have the opportunity to get a more of a premium whenever they sell their set.
Right.
Because you're really helping the dealer out too, and he's going to scratch your back.
Or the collector that it's going to.
Oh, absolutely.
Because time is money, right? And so if you don't have to sit out there and search for the $25 piece or the $50 piece or whatever the missing pieces are, that saves you time, which therefore saves you money. And that's why you get that premium when you buy the 4-piece set.
Okay, so that's sets out of the sets series and date runs. Explain series for everybody.
So series is like Gold American Eagles. That's a series, right? So so many times collectors, and over the years, I'm pushing two decades now, right? And over the years, man, people, the worst thing I see is people who have a hodgepodge of coins. And there's just no other way to put it, right? And that's like they've got coins, they've got Gold American Eagles, they got Silver American Eagles, they've got Morgan Silver dollars, they've got pennies, they've got U.S. mint sets, they've got this hodgepodge full of stuff.
Yeah.
And what happens is either they pass away or they come to a point where they're done with their coin collecting, they want to liquidate, and it's so much, and it's overwhelming. Even when me as a dealer, when I get it on a list, I'm like, holy, this, you got 250 different line items of stuff that's spread over 17 different series of coins. $10 liberties, and then you got modern coins, and that's why we always tell people probably about 5 different series max is what you want to focus on.
Yeah, because it can get out of hand quickly. We've had a lot of people that, they'll show us their collection, and like I said, it's all over the map.
Right.
And it's difficult because most of the time, those collectors also have coins that it's a mixture of graded, and it's also a mixture of raw coins that, it's very difficult to do.
It's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, today we had, a customer that one of you guys in there approached me. Guys got 86 through 91 half-ounce Gold Eagles. Some are certified, some aren't certified. I'm like, well, I have to see the uncertified ones.
Yeah.
You know, are they trash? Are they 69 quality? There's just so many different variables. Yeah, you want to stay away from the hodgepodge. I mean, that's the biggest mistake I think I see a lot of people make. And if you've got more money to spend, you know, let's say you've got an unlimited budget, then just buy better coins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you could. The old school dealers, they'll remember this. They used to collect what's called box of 20. You could put together a box of 20. And so a dealer's tray is 20 slots.
Right.
And so if you wanted to have that hodgepodge, right, something that was very unique, you could do 20 different coins, just whatever you wanted to put in it, right? Like if you wanted a 1986 Silver Eagle in 70 and an 86 Proof in 70 and then a $10 Liberty from New Orleans, anything that was special to you, right? 20 hodgepodge coins.
Right.
But 20 of, I mean, I've seen collectors, I've bid on one, it was a box of 10. I mean, it was a box of 10 collection. It was a 10 coin box. And it was $150,000
Wow.
for 10 coins.
Yeah.
You know, so you can make coins can be $100,
100,000.
100,000,
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
$1 million. So if you have unlimited budget, I would say maybe buy better coins.
So less quantity, higher quality.
Quality, always, because quality is that's the hard part, right? I mean, quality's not everywhere. There's a bunch of coins out there.
Yeah.
The quality. I mean, why is CAC? You know, why are CAC coins bringing a premium? Because they're the best of the best of that grade. It's quality.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's worth it.
So, what do you think? Like one of the things that new collectors should look out for?
So I've often said this, and it sounds simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the best plans. But first year issues, last year issues, we always go for those, just because, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been collecting. You could be collecting for 4 days. You could be collecting for 40 years. The first year issue of anything, if it's a 1986 Silver Eagle, I mean, if it's the '06 Buffalo, they're always going to be sought after. So they're in demand regardless.
Right.
That's a really good first place to start off with, without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, if you look at, even if you wanted to go to the vintage side of things, right? The 1906 $10 Liberty. I mean, it's one of our most requested dates, and it's not like a horribly scarce date, extremely rare.
It's because it's the very last year.
But it's never available.
Yeah.
It's just the demand's always there, right?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about first year issues. I mean, look at the U.S. Mint, right? In 2016, they did that Centennial set with the gold Mercury dime. They did, because those were all first. Yeah. That was 100 years.
100-year anniversary that they did.
They're commemorating the first year issues from 1916. I mean, it's proven. First year issues, last year issues, extremely in demand.
Absolutely. So, aside from that, I know we talked briefly about some things that we want to avoid also. And you had mentioned mint errors. I think because what I've seen a lot, here's the thing, is I've seen a lot of videos, some on YouTube, different things like that, where there's guys with a zoom in of, you know, he's got his coin magnified, and he's looking through and he's searching, and he's got a pointer and he's pointing out an individual mark on a penny, or he's looking for like a close AM on a certain date.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, out there, I'll tell you, don't listen to everything that's on YouTube. And I know this is on YouTube, but don't listen to everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
The close AM pennies, you know, like, oh man, we get tons of phone calls from people saying, well, you know, this it's a mint error, right? But if you need a microscope to look at that mint error, I mean, and again on pennies, I mean, how many millions of pennies do they make every year?
True, and here's the thing: this is absolutely a hobby. If you enjoy,
if you enjoy
going through all these pennies and nickels and dimes, and you like doing that, keep doing it. We're not knocking it. This is a hobby. But if you're interested in doing something that's going to be worth your time, and whatever your intention is, if you want to leave something that has value, or you want to build this up to a point that has a lot of value and quality, don't spend your time looking through pennies.
Yeah. Well, look, there's one penny that can be found that's a reasonable sells for a reasonable premium when you do find it. And that's the 1955 double die, right? It's really easy to spot. When you're looking at it, it looks like you're drunk, right? Just the whole front of the coin's blurry because it's struck 2 times. That coin's several $100s. Okay, I mean, that's an easy one. You get pennies back. You look if it's 1955. Is it 1955? Okay, I'm going to look closer. Oh, it's not a double die. Move on, right?
So you have a chance of finding that.
Yeah, you have a chance of finding it. Like, it's. I'll tell you this: there's not many coin dealers out there where we sit there and go through pocket change. And you got to realize some of these people are just making content for YouTube for people who. It's like that lottery effect. They think they're going to win the lottery.
It's the thrill of the chase.
Yeah, but
nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
You probably have a better chance, like the 1943 copper, right? You probably have a better chance of hitting the Powerball.
Yeah.
Than finding that coin.
Some mathematician do the odds, but
I think there's like 13 coins known.
Yeah.
Out of a billion or something. I mean, it's
insane.
Yeah, I mean, so that's time, energy, and effort, and your time's better spent on coins that most people want. And yeah, some of these errors sell for big money, but they're pretty big errors. And I would tell new people stay away from that for sure. I mean, it's just unless you enjoy it. I mean, if you enjoy just searching through thousands of pennies, and I guess some people do, but it is not my cup of tea.
Absolutely not. Well, I will tell you this. I do. When I was very, very young and collecting,
I will say you seem like the type that would do it though. Okay.
I will tell you this. When I was a teenager, it was a long time ago, but one of my favorite things to do was I had heard about, this is very early on in my collecting, I'd heard about that there was still silver in our pocket change. So I would actually go to my bank, I would withdraw a certain amount of money in rolls of quarters, and I would get a box back of rolls of quarters, withdraw from my account, and I would go through, I'd put a nice movie on or something, and I would go through those rolls, and I would pull out any silver that I got. You have a lot better chance. Now, I did that for a short period of time, and I found my silver, but as time goes on...
How much silver?
Oh, I would have to say...
Dollars worth. Like, what do you think? $500 worth of silver?
Oh, absolutely not. No, there's no way. Yeah, no,
$100.
No. If I did it, because it took a lot of time, so I don't recommend doing it, but you can do it. It's a fun way to... For me, I was young, and it was just
better than other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I probably got in one box of quarters, and there had to be maybe 50 rolls. I maybe found 5 to 10 silver quarters.
It's like $40.
Yeah, so it was more fun than it was profitable. Like it was, it's profit because here's the thing: I would take the quarters back, put them back in the roll, and then go deposit back in my bank. So,
but is that coin collecting, or is that just looking for a profit?
I guess that's more just.
I mean, because
silver hunting.
You're really just looking for the silver.
True.
So it's not like this is a 1964 quarter or 1932 D quarter. I'll tell you one better. This is what I used to do. I was a little bit smarter about it.
Okay.
I would go to the local convenience stores and I'd say, hey, if you get dimes, quarters, and half dollars that are 1964 or before, call me. I'll buy, because they're going to take it in as change.
Oh, yeah.
I said, put it off to the side, and I'll pay you 10 times its face value. And back then, like, I was doing this a lot in 2011 when silver hit $48.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I'll pay you. And they're like, so you'll pay me $1 for a dime? I said, absolutely. And then, every so often, every couple of weeks, I'd go in there and just pick up and pay them. And did I get $500 worth? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't do any time.
Yeah.
I didn't spend any time looking for it.
So, and this just goes to show you, if it's fun and you enjoy doing it, just do it. But now, since then, we've looked at it where you can spend less time looking through rolls and looking for pennies and looking for errors, and you can really focus in and do something that's really worth working on. So right now, aside from first and last year issues, I know we mentioned in our first episode briefly, we talked about, key dates. Other than that, is there anything that you would recommend new collectors or novices that what they should really be looking for?
I would say, in my personal opinion, if you have the opportunity to buy one of the retro holders, like the older PCGS Rattlers, the old green holders, the NGC Fatties. Yeah, on this, like if we're talking real coins now, we're talking if you're buying Morgan silver dollars, we're talking $10 gold liberties. If you can buy that for a modest premium, nothing that like I wouldn't say go spend double what you would on the same coin that didn't have that holder, right? But if you could buy, you know, an 1883 Morgan and an old Rattler for close to the same price that you could buy a currently, because that's unique. And at the end of the day, people, we're all collectors, right? This hobby is driven on, it's collector driven. And if you have something that's cool, that's desirable, that you don't see often, that's what I want. I mean, I can go find a bunch of 83Os right now. I mean, we could probably run a promotion on 250 or so 83Os in, I don't know, 63 or 64 grade. Couldn't do it in old Rattlers or exclusively in old green holders. So I would say, like, look for something. And again, you're going to get a better quality coin. I think they were just a little more strict grading back then. Yeah. I would say look for those older holders. Okay. I mean, because they can bring value, but they'll be more desirable down the road.
Yeah, and we also talked about, you know, certain things to avoid. And I think the one thing that we didn't mention, it kind of hurts me when I see it because, you know, a collector has taken time. In some cases, when we look at some of these collections, they are amassed over 40 years in some cases. Right. One thing that hurts me is we go and we look and there's more of the novelty items. Yeah. And we had something in the last episode that we talked about, the augmented reality coins. Right. I think that's on the other side of the threshold where it's rare, it's something really interesting, but there's novelty things out there that sometimes we'll see collections and they're like, oh man, my dad passed away and this is his collection and half of it is, I'm not going to say company names or anything like that, but it's, you know, like colorized silver eagles, and it's all done by third-party groups and they're charging a fair, I mean, not anything but fair amount. They're charging pretty high premiums for these things. What are your thoughts on these novelty things?
So, like, I'll tell you, last week we had, so in the business park that we're in, next to us is Edward Jones Financial, right? And they had a guy who inherited a bunch of coins from his dad who had passed away. And they're like, oh, you need to go see Walt next door. So he comes over and he's got, and again, I won't say any company names, but as soon as I saw the first package and the box, I was like, ugh. And he had like this really nice presentation of the presidential dollars, right? And it's all spread out and you know, he's got boxes of them. And he's like, man, are these worth anything? And I was like, nope, sorry. And
I'm sure that they have the gold plated.
Yeah, well, the dollars are golden.
They're golden. Yeah,
they're golden in color. But I was like, no, man, I hate to tell you, like the box alone. The box probably cost the company $59, you know, or $50. It's just, but I was like, if you go use our restroom right now, we have presidential dollars hung up,
framed right on the wall.
Yeah, framed right on the wall. I was like, that's how much we just got it as a. But in that entire collection, I mean, he had boxes and boxes and boxes of this kind of stuff, these novelty stuff, these tokens that weren't issued by any government or anything, no silver, no nothing, stamps. Yeah. He had one box, and it was a 2009 Ultra High Relief with the with the original box and papers. And I said, everything else all this is this crap.
You would never. I mean, I would never imagine looking through that and, you know, going through 80% of it and just kind of, man, this is terrible. But then, boom, hidden gem in the holder.
Yeah, and I said, you know, and I offered him real money for it, and he was just like, I'm just going to hold on to it. And I said, I get it. I said, if you ever want to sell that, I said, just be careful with this. Leave it in the box. He had the book. It was just what we like to call Grandpa Fresh, right? It was just like his dad probably bought it from the mint in 2009. Yeah. Just a pristine coin. The box. Well, that was weird.
All right.
The box and the papers and everything was just immaculate. So
So we call that OGP.
OGP, yeah. OGP is short for Original Government Packaging.
With COA, and that stands
Yeah.
for Certificate of Authenticity.
So OGP, well, for it to be considered OGP, it's got to have the COA. It has to be as it was shipped by the United States Mint at that year.
Yeah.
So like there's, most people don't know this, but the U.S. Mint in, let's say 1986 had purple boxes for their Silver Eagles. And then, later years they became the blue boxes.
Yeah.
So you can't put a 1986 Silver Eagle in a blue box and call it OGP because it's not
the original. Yeah.
So yeah, that's so. Long story short, these novelty coins that are out there that you have seen on TV kind of stuff. Now look, like I saw a video the other day on Instagram or YouTube, one of them. And it was a guy like really hating on some of these, what they call American fantasy strikes coming out of Fiji. And listen, I'll be honest, we were kind of hesitant at first with those. But if you look at what the market is doing, it doesn't necessarily have to be U.S. minted coins. Fiji, Niue, all these coins, the Perth Mint stuff, they're highly collectible. The stuff coming out of the New Zealand Mint, highly collectible.
Yeah.
And that's not trash. That's not novelty.
That's completely different from, when I say novelty, I guess I'm talking more or less about, because there's so many, if you've ever called a company or asked for, a brochure or a catalog about any coins or anything like that, I'm sure you've gotten an ad before that shows you've got, this beautiful coin, it looks like a buffalo, but it's not a gold buffalo struck by the U.S. Mint. And it says real 24 karat gold, but it's layered in 24 karat gold. There's maybe like 10 cents worth of gold on the outside of this coin. And then it tells you like in the fine print, solid copper or whatever it is on the inside.
So
that's the, avoid that and always look to make sure it's real gold or real silver. That's completely different.
Right. So back in 2000, I don't know, many years ago, let's just put it that way. We handled a lot of buffaloes and we still do handle a lot of buffaloes. Mm-hmm. And at that time on TV was this copy of the gold buffalo. It was,
is that the one that said copy on the back of it? Yeah.
Cladded in pure, in 7 milligrams of 24, or something like that. I could not tell you how many calls that we would get from people because they ran this commercial everywhere. Then we'd get calls, I paid $1,500 for this buffalo and I can get the same thing on TV for $19. Nope.
It's not the same thing. Yeah.
Not the same thing. Those little novelty strikes. So if you're new to the market, I would say stick to stuff that NGC and PCGS will certify, even if it's not.
Yeah.
Even if it's not. Even if it's not certified, if NGC or PCGS or now CACG won't put it into a holder, probably don't buy it.
So a good way you can do that is you can go to either company's website. You can go to their resources and see. They'll give you a list of populations, and there's even a price guide on there. But you can go and see whatever coin you're looking at, you can go and see exactly how many they've graded, how many came back in 69 into 70. If you see that, then I would go ahead and I would say it's safe to go ahead and get that.
Yeah, again,
you're not going to get something that
it's something that people want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that really struck me as something that because we've handled the 4-piece silver sets that came out of Fiji. Those were really cool. I mean the American public that has been dying for a 4-piece silver eagle set, right? The fractional with a 1/10 ounce, a 1/4 ounce, a 1/2 ounce, and a 1 ounce. And it took Fiji Mint to do it. And what people don't realize is when a coin is minted in the United States, it literally takes an act of Congress. There has to be a bill passed for stuff to be minted. That was the big deal with the New Morgans, right? They had to pass that bill to get those made. And I'm glad they did that, because I think that's great for the hobby. But even the 4-piece buffalo sets from Fiji, those were awesome. I mean, we haven't, in my opinion, the the American public has been dying for another silver buffalo coin.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and you can't say that they're not, because all these private, refineries make silver buffalo rounds
Yeah.
because people love that design.
That's a beautiful design.
And not everybody can afford a 1 ounce gold buffalo. And guess what? The year that they did the fractional gold buffaloes, well, now they're not even affordable. I mean, those are so.
Yeah, those are very difficult to get in a perfect grade.
Yeah. So
just to make sure we're clear, that was 2008, right?
2008, they did 5, 10, 25, and a $50 gold buffalo, just like they do the American Eagles. And at the time, they were extremely affordable. But because they're so popular now, especially in perfect proof 70 grades,
Yeah.
they're expensive. I mean, Shane wears a 20.
Yeah, he wears a buffalo.
A $10 piece.
Yeah.
So he just for the $10 piece to put on a necklace, he paid twice melt.
Yeah.
In
a raw condition.
In a raw condition that was not worth grading, just to wear it on a necklace, he paid twice melt. So, in my opinion, the American public has been hungry for a silver buffalo coin, and it hasn't happened since 2001. Right? That's the U.S. Mint did
It's been a long time.
Yeah, the U.S. Mint did a silver set in 2001, and so the Fiji Mint last year did 2,500 of these 4-piece silver buffalo sets, and they're really cool, really popular, and again, it's not a U.S. Mint coin, but it's definitely got a market, and it's not a novelty. They call them like U.S. fantasy strikes. Something we wish the U.S. Mint would do. And I'll tell you right now, if the U.S. Mint made only 2,500 coins, can you imagine how expensive those things would be?
What has happened in the past with similar situations to that, but oh my gosh. Yeah, fantasy strikes, without a doubt, they're fun. I've always been partial to American only.
Correct.
And this, in recent months, I'm starting to warm up to the idea of these other countries' coins, especially, and I'm going to say this again, PCGS and NGC certified, without a doubt. If they certify it, go ahead and grab it, especially if it's something you really enjoy too. Silver buffaloes look really good. One thing I want to mention too is that a really good way to start off, because we mentioned it before, you order something from the U.S. Mint, and it comes with the box and the papers. Start off there. That's a really good place to start out collecting. Yeah. You can't get business strikes from the Mint. So if you want a Silver Eagle and you want it in a mint state, you're going to have to talk to your dealer. Wink. But other than that, go get proofs. Go get anything that comes out from the Mint. It's I don't want to say foolproof, but you'd be surprised. There are some strikes and some designs, like with the Morgans. 2021, they come out with the Morgans again. They strike them. How quick did that set go from, I don't know, you were hundreds of dollars for the Morgans originally.
To thousands. Very quickly. And a lot of it was due to the 2021 Denver Mint. In 70, like when we're talking about, to clarify, we're talking about the graded and certified 70s, right?
Yeah,
because the OGP stuff, hasn't really done what hasn't really doubled in price.
Right.
The MS-70 first day of issue sets, okay.
Yeah.
And the reason is because you never know. And what happened was there are more buyers than there are available coins in perfect mint state 70. Therefore, the price must go up.
Yeah.
But they went up quickly.
See, and normally, whenever something goes up like that, it will come down shortly after. This is
sustained. There's dealers.
It's always in demand.
Dealers are backing
supply.
it. And when I say dealers are backing it, people like us support the market. We can't get enough of it, so offer them to us, and we'll pay you real money for them. Those did extremely well. Will the 2023s do that? I don't know. I mean, you just never know.
Anything unique that comes out of the Mint, I would say, get it as soon as you can. Get it in a perfect 70, because it's always going to do better. I mean, it's a story that repeats itself.
Anytime that the U.S. Mint makes 275,000 of a particular item and it sells out in minutes, it's an in-demand product.
Yeah, I mean, compare that to Silver Eagles. Silver Eagles, they mint millions, millions and millions of these every single year. So when they strike Morgans, which everybody absolutely loves Morgans, when they do that and there's that few, get it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Like, so yesterday, the U.S. Mint started releasing the silver proof American Eagles. So we will have silver proof American Eagles and perfect proof 70 first day of issue coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
Again, they were released yesterday. They expected the Mint website to shut down. So there's always stuff like that. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to buy directly from the United States Mint, and sometimes if you want certified coins, it's not feasible. It's not really feasible to buy from the United States Mint. It's hard to get these coins certified.
Yeah.
You don't know how many you're going to have to submit to get a 70 grade. That's what people fail to realize.
You'll save a lot more money if you. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
We're going to make it a lot easier for you because we go through the headache. It's our job to go and we send enough to get certified. We're going to get 69s back, but we're going to have the 70s. So you pay the small premium for it and you get the coin that's worth having.
At the end of the day, I think the message is you can't go wrong with a U.S. Mint product.
Absolutely not.
You can't go wrong with a product certified by NGC or PCGS. And you're not going to go wrong with a coin certified by the new CACG. Just not going to go wrong. And focus kind of on those series that those companies will certify, and you'll be okay.
Okay. So one last thing talk about before we go. We have a coin of the week.
Yeah, so one of the things we want to do is, purchase of the week.
Yeah.
And it's been difficult after the fun show to find good stuff. I mean,
well, I'm sure for you too, you had to pinpoint. Well, it was a good week, but pinpoint one coin that really stood out. Yeah.
So the coins that stuck out to me is we bought a handful of 2018 $25 Gold Eagles in perfect proof 70 first day of issue. For those of you who are not familiar with that coin has a mintage of only 9,204 coins.
Extremely low.
Extremely low when it comes to gold American Eagles. And if you remember us talking at the beginning of this episode, we said coins, 4-piece sets, right? That's what every dealer wants. This is the coin in 2018 that stops
most people from getting it.
Most people, most dealers, this is the coin that stops them. What's also pretty unique about it is if you look at it by mintage, it's the lowest minute $25 Gold Eagle in the history of the United States Mint, regardless of finish.
See, and you know one thing too, and this is something I thought about. They changed the design in 2021. They have the end of the Type 1s and the beginning of the Type 2s. So fast forward, I can't tell the future, but the good thing about this coin in particular that I really enjoy is that even if they come out with a lower minted coin in the future, which is highly unlikely, especially with the demand we've seen in gold in recent months. But even if they do, this is already concreted in because they changed the design of it. This is the lowest minted $25 piece of the Type 1s, even if they come out with a lower one in the future. And because of that, I mean, it's going to be something that it's always going to be in demand.
Right. And listen, and just to run the numbers, in NGC Proof 70, there's 3,500 coins. That's not a lot of coins when you look at how many people collect gold American Eagles in Proof.
Yeah.
Just not a lot of coins. And I mean, I know it sounds like a lot. You know, people want a coin that has only 15, a population of 15. Listen, there are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people who collect gold American Eagles.
Yeah.
3,500 coins is not a lot of coins.
Yeah.
And so it's relative. You know, we had a client one time say, I need to sell some of these coins because I'm down to my last $1 million in cash. And the manager...
My last $1 million.
My last $1 million in cash. And the guy who was talking to him on the phone said, man, I wish I had that problem. And he said something back that's so true. He's like, it's all relative. My bills are just bigger than yours. And so when it comes to coins, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, take the 4-piece buffalo sets in silver from Fiji, 2,500 minute. Because I'm not going to lie to you, there's not as much demand as if that would have been a U.S. Mint product, but there's demand. So with the gold American Eagles, it is I'll go out on a limb and say the most widely collected gold coin in the United States and possibly the world. So
to be able to get, that's awesome. Getting the lowest minted.
So yeah,
proof.
so we struggle to find those. Just like, so anytime I get an opportunity to buy them at a normal level, I'll buy them. hopefully they'll be on the website pretty soon. Again, we're trying to catch up with everything.
Oh yeah.
But just a handful of them, and we probably won't see another. It'll be a couple months before we see some
Yeah,
more.
another thing
And
too
they're
is
always more money.
we just went through a really hard freeze down here too, so that was kind of slowing us down too. You get back from the show and then
Yeah, so the freeze has slowed up FedEx shipping, USPS shippings. Earlier today I was talking to a local customer about Gold American Eagles. I was like, we're still waiting on our Gold American Eagles, to come from the U.S. Mint. We should have them the next day or so. We were supposed to have them yesterday, but FedEx and them were still playing catch up, and it wasn't just here in Texas where that freeze hit. I mean, the further north you went, so it's backlogging everything.
that's fair.
But yeah, so I would say purchase of the week, on my opinion, 2018 $25 Gold Eagles
Without
improved
a doubt.
Saturday, without a doubt. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. And if you do us a favor, it'd mean the world to us if you hit the subscribe button. If you have a comment, go ahead and leave it, and we might talk about it on the next show. Thanks for listening.